will be allowed, and should be allowed, and it will be able to then join in the race, and it won't lose a further lap.
It won't lose a lap.
Well, if they're not, I don't think so.
Not cross
because
the start line.
Well, no, but I don't think that this lap that we're on at the moment is a lap that will count towards the number of laps completed. The timing system went a bit odd when the cars went through at the beginning of the initial lap, so don't see, when you see the screen click over, don't necessarily take that as being the completion of the 5th racing lap.
All right, bear that in mind. When I do...
I shall slap you.
No, you just allow me to go with it, and then we'll reset halfway through. Because you're absolutely right, of course, because the first starting group were already way in front of the transponder line, and so they would be a lap down to Group 2 and Group 3.
Yes, and that's
Group 3 anyway.
That's where the timing went a little bit astray, and where my system as well has got itself a bit confused, and the whole projection software is now completely up the chute. But we'll get it all back, and we'll work out at some point how we're going to get through the race. So may end up going back to notepads, which I far prefer anyway, notepads and stopwatches. As I say, when the green flag is shown at the completion of this safety car lap, this timing system may show 5 laps completed, but I think it probably won't. I think that will then be the count of laps will then start again from 4.
So we're on the microwave lap now, aren't we? We're warming things back up again.
In the sense of that, yes.
Yes. So this is the re-warm-up lap. There's another new racing term from the Responsible Adult, or that was from Johnny Boy on the Responsible Adult's Twitter feed. Now that's going to be dangerous, isn't it? We are starting to get lists of who is restarting in their various different cars. Rennmeister Bernd Schneider is starting in his Mercedes, according to his teammate. So Bernd Schneider may be looking to try and put that Mercedes way up at the front of the field. We are getting ready to restart the 2016 Nürburgring at 24 hours live on Radio Le Mans with driven by Aston Martin, Martin Haven, Paul Truswell and Graham Goodwin, looking down over a misty and rainy Nürburgring circuit. The Nordschleife is wet, and after a near 4-hour rain delay, Graham Goodwin, effectively for everybody in the cars now, whether they started originally or not, this is a brand new race start in some fairly tricky conditions.
I think effectively it is. Just a quick off-mic conversation with Dr. Ulrich Betz is in the studio with us in the Aston Martin lounge with us at the moment. I wonder, Paul, whether or not that BMW in the pit lane might have to come round and pit again to cross the start line.
The only problem is if
I see exactly what you're saying, and that might be how they will penalise it for not having set off on the formation lap.
That depends where it was delivered back to. If it was delivered back to the dead car parc ferme at the top end, it would have crossed the timing beam in the pit lane as it came down to pit exit.
Well, I think we'll soon see, but as for where am I sitting at the moment on this one, excitement and foreboding, because it still does look extremely challenging out there. It is fading light. It is still very, very wet out right around the circuit, with rain still falling at 1 or 2 places around the circuit, and we believe more very heavy rain due any moment now. So a degree of foreboding. Yes, we want to get this thing running. I'd like to see some racing, please. Big man upstairs, that would be lovely.
Well, listen, again, we said this earlier, it's the Nürburgring, it's early summer, of course it's going to rain, it's a given, same as if we're doing a race at Spa. The chances are, in this region, it sticks up into the air a lot. Passing clouds tend to get ripped open at the underbelly and dump stuff, and they already have done, and the forecast for the weekend is a continuation of that weather pattern. It should be wave after wave of it coming, so we will get respite, but we will get wet and cold and miserable again. So I think nobody is under really any false pretenses here. It's going to be wet and it's going to be gritty.
Coming through the Schwalbenschwanz then at the moment, and then they'll be turning, following that mini carousel through the final final right-hander, the Galgenkopf, the gallows head. That will bring them onto the Dottinger Hohe, and then it will be pretty much as it was before. Mercedes and BMW leading, sharing the front row, the number 9 Mercedes with the number 18 BMW alongside it. And then behind that, instead of the 2 Haribo Mercedes, what we have actually got is a Haribo Mercedes with alongside it the HTP Mercedes. So 2 Mercedes on the second row of the grid, and then on the third row of the reset grid is the...
Well, that's the second Haribo car, so they're actually nose to tail again, aren't they?
Nose to tail as opposed to side by side.
Yeah.
And then not the number 22 BMW, that car... Oh, no,
it was not the number 23.
It wasn't, it was the 23, so it's
yeah,
the
so
number 22 BMW. So Mercedes, BMW, and then 2 Mercedes, and then another Mercedes BMW on the next row back.
Best of the Audis will be the Frank Stubler-driven car in 7th place. That's the number 5 Audi.
And the best of the Aston Martins in 12th place, going well. And of course they're going to benefit still further because it's the number 23 BMW, which should be immediately ahead of them. So the number 7 Aston Martin, Nicky Team, whether he's at the wheel or not, I don't know. He, having driven it in the first part, that car will be up in 11th place. So good start in prospect for them.
So a sea of lights weaving from side to side along the length of Dottinger Hohe. This massive 4 kilometre long straight that leads us down from just outside the nearby village of Dötting, just down the hillside, through the mist and the rain, and down towards the end of this lap of the Nordschleife. The cars are about 3 minutes away from a restart, so they were hoping to go green at 7:20. It is now 7:20, and so we are going to be a couple of minutes shy of that. But given the logistics of getting everybody out of the pit lane, getting on for 160 cars into some semblance of order and starting them off and allowing them at least one lap around the Nordschleife to try and see exactly what conditions are going to be like, I think that's a remarkably close achievement to where they expected to be. 20 hours and 9 minutes and counting down on the clock. By the time we get going, we will have barely 20 hours of racing to undertake.
And we'll have had exactly 3 hours under red flag conditions. What is the good news, and I hope this is what is going to happen, is that the safety car will pull off and that we will get back into race conditions. I don't think there's any suggestion that this is a start behind the safety car and a safety car start. It will be the safety car pulling off, and it will then be a racing start. Had no message on the screen to that effect anyway.
No, absolutely.
I think that is very good news, although, quite frankly, the conditions are still pretty awful, and in some ways I would have forgiven the race director if that would have been the decision he had made.
It is, however, daylight, which it won't be later, and some news coming in from the States, Graham Goodwin.
Not at the moment,
no,
Martin.
Okay, all right. So those of you who are across things happening over in the US will be aware that we're waiting for news of an incident there. So we are getting ready for things to get back underway here. And as we said, despite the biblical proportions of the storm that interrupted the race in the first hour of the 2016 Nürburgring 24 hours, lost a handful of cars.
From the Eiffel Mountains, this is RadioLeMans.com.
The safety car leads the field towards the finish line here at the Nordschleife. The lights remain on, and that does then make it look rather, since the safety car is only about a car length ahead of our leading contender, the number 9 Mercedes, as they come across the line, that they will go potentially for a second lap of the Nordschleife then, to really allow cars to get up to temperature and to the drivers. And in fact, we're now seeing that second formation lap has just popped up on the screen. Might have been wise to tell them that, you know, a couple of miles ago, but okay, whatever, at least.
I suspect they probably did tell them, and it was, I'm not saying that I had anything to do with it at all, but as they were coming through, I thought, this is not conditions are not clear enough to make this into a race start. And so we do have the race now controlled under the safety car. And what I suspect will happen is that from now on, we are now counting laps. But as I say, we'll wait till the system kind of unwinds itself, because initially the timing screen will look a little bit strange.
What we can say, though, because now, of course, we're getting these timing screens adjusted for the cars that aren't actually out there, is that not only is the 23 in some strife, but also the number 3 Fricadelli car is not out in that train, is dropping down the order.
So you said that Sabina was out. She wasn't. The number 23 was still in the pit lane, but as the chase car went past, so the light turned to green, and the number 23 BMW